Hello and a wonderful day. This is Arne Bergman from Panagenda. I'm going to talk about OfficeExpert license analytics. And to make it more interesting for you, I brought some real data from one of our customers running 55,000 Microsoft 365 users. Before I dive into the various views and perspectives inside OfficeExpert, let's start with the highlights because we're really talking about big money here. And there are some really easy and very low-hanging fruits available, and probably for you as well. If we look at the monthly savings potential via the unassigned licenses, which we call the license pool, in this case we're already talking about €250,000 every single month. Do we really need such a huge license pool? Well, we should have some, but probably not 250K in unassigned licenses, which equate to 15.36% compared to the total monthly license subscriptions. The next point, again, a monthly cost savings potential, is when we look at the effective usage of the respective Office 365 subscriptions and the apps inside. We can go into far more detail, but if we now only look at active versus inactive, we can show that to you in 30, 60, 90 days, and one date you can select, of course, yourself. In this case, we said, okay, let's look at the 6 months. No activity in Microsoft 365 value, and in this case, this is €115,920 every single month, and the clock is ticking. And last but not least, well, it sounds simple and logic, but if you have a large infrastructure, well, you will have deactivated users that you are still paying licenses for. In this case, it's about €38,000. So summing that up, we're talking about an easy savings potential of over €400,000 every single month. Well, probably not in every single month in the future, because when you start with OfficeExpert, you will clear that out, you will optimize your license management, and your first win is going to be this one. But we help you never get into such a situation. Granularity, as I said, we can go in much more detail when it comes to the activity and usage of applications, because we have detailed Microsoft 365 and Teams usage analytics, which in the Teams side we use it for the adoption world and the collaboration specialists, and the Microsoft 365 world we use it for the platform owners. We can become more granular, really looking at single individual applications, whether they're used or not used. Probably one application is the big difference between one subscription type and the other. And if it's not used, why keep those users on the higher subscription type instead of just reducing them license-wise to the smaller and cheaper subscription? They will not even realize that they do not have this extra functionality available any longer, and you don't pay for it a fortune. So granularity is key, especially when we also want to do something with the data, not just analyzing the data, but then also breaking it down into the organizational units, the departments, the locations, the countries, etc., etc., and use that capability for proper reporting and also for automatically charging back. Make cost center assignments, give the department heads or business unit heads the information, hey, you can save $5,000 or euros every individual month if you do this. We can do that via email, and we can do it within Teams via the adaptive card technology. And we go one step beyond. With the new web API call option in the Action Center of OfficeExpert, we could, for example, also perform such subscription changes automatically. Let's say 3 months not used or 6 months not used, automatically put those licenses somewhere, for example, into the license pool, or deactivate them completely. So after having talked about the highlights, and once again, we're talking big figures, let's have a look at the product itself. The first you're going to see when you open the license management area of OfficeExpert is the license pool, the unassigned monthly license cost. So here you already see what is your monthly cost, what is actually assigned, and where's your delta, what's your savings potential. Quantity-wise, what kind of licenses and subscriptions do you have within your organization, and what does that mean from a financial impact? Then you look at the consumed subscriptions over time. Well, we start collecting when we start collecting. So this will be your start date. So once you've collected, let's say a year or longer, yeah, you will always see the last 365 days. So you have a nice overview about the evolution and changes within your licensing structure. And if you want to have a closer look at a specific subscription type, you can deactivate those that you don't want to have a closer look at. The next are the subscription states, which are important for a purchase planning. Well, you can switch from one subscription type to the other. And what we see here are the enabled ones, the consumed ones, and we see there is a delta. We have far more on stock and enabled than actually consumed. What we call soon expired can also be called the warning state. So when the running period of a subscription comes to an end, there is 1 month, let's say like a grace period with full functionality in warning or soon to expire state. And after that month, they drop into expired or suspended mode when there is solely access to data, but no real working with the product itself any longer. Well, you will want to know in what state you are currently in from a procurement planning perspective. Next are the subscription details, and you see it's a table, and wherever Panagenda works with tables, we also allow for export directly from that point, and we provide you with additional view options. Yeah, you can structure tables the way you want. You can use the column selector. You can deactivate them. You can move them around so that you always see things first that you want to see first. The subscription distribution, that's where the Azure AD information comes into play, where we match it to the respective departments or locations or countries. Here we simply say what is the monthly subscription cost caused by which department and by using what kind of subscription types. Yeah, so what is the consumption of the overall subscription types? The next are the cost savings potentials via the inactive users, and that's where the usage analysis comes into play. As mentioned, we have selected the 6 months ourselves. By default, we show 30, 60, and 90 days, and with the 6 months, to be really on the safe side, we show you the users and the department information, what kind of subscriptions we're talking about, what has been the last activity date, the true last activity date, because that could be far, far longer than 6 months. So for this license, probably here, for those 2 licenses, you probably pay much, much, much longer than just the 6 months. Okay, with that, you can easily start working and starting deactivating respective users and start saving money every single month. The next point with cost savings potential was the deactivated users, and here you see the monthly savings potential figure that I've shown on the first page, on the highlights page. You get information which accounts we're talking about, which departments they are assigned to, and with that you can easily start reducing your cost. What we also want to do is to use information and make it available to the people who are responsible for those cost centers. Let's say the sales manager, the marketing manager, development manager, etc., etc. So for the chargeback accounting, we go more into detail and provide information about the total monthly subscription costs for the specific department, the total monthly subscription costs per user, so what are the most expensive users there, and also what is the last activity or what has been the last activity of certain users for certain subscriptions. Using such kind of information and push it via email or adaptive card in Teams to the respective department heads will make them think about what really needs to be changed. Probably they want to reactivate it. There was a good reason for having it and for keeping it, but providing the transparency and the opportunity to make an educated decision. That's the key point here. So good. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope we can start soon also analyzing your license and usage states and start saving a lot of money as soon as possible. Again, my name is Arne Werkman. You can contact me via email, telephone, and I'm also always happy to connect on LinkedIn. Thanks a bunch and have a great day.